Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Aryan, and I'm joined by Nitin, an Oracle ERP cloud expert who has spent several years helping organizations simplify and accelerate their Oracle cloud environments. Together, we will be walking you through how SAMKIT's Develop SQL tool transforms the way Oracle users query, analyze, and manage data, turning what is usually a painful, time consuming process into something quick, reliable, and efficient. This session is designed to be practical. We'll start with a real world case study, introduce you to our Develop SQL tool, share a live demo, and finally open the floor for Q&A session. And for those who stay until the end, we are offering an exclusive 3-month free trial of our Develop SQL tool so you can try it directly in your own environments. So let me start with a real case study to assess the measurable impact of Develop SQL. Before we dive into the solutions, let me take a quick moment to introduce who we are. Samkit Infosystems is a trusted partner for organizations looking to maximize the value of their Oracle Cloud investment. We specialize in developing advanced Oracle Cloud applications that accelerate digital transformation, streamline operations, and strengthen governance. Our focus has always been on creating reliable, ready to use solutions that integrate seamlessly into Oracle ERP, HCM, and SCM environments. These tools are designed to help businesses reduce audit preparation times, cut compliance costs, and eliminate repetitive manual work that slows teams down. Over the years, we have supported organizations across finance, manufacturing, supply chain, and other sectors, helping them achieve measurable gains in efficiency, compliance, and control. Our philosophy is straightforward. Technology should deliver immediate impact while building a foundation for future readiness. And that's exactly what our suite of Developers Aid is built to achieve. Now, let me introduce you to Develop SQL. Develop SQL is a secure and user friendly application that connects directly to your Oracle Fusion Cloud environments and provides a powerful SQL query editor designed specifically for Oracle users. With Develop SQL, you can run queries on multiple Oracle Cloud instances simultaneously and compare results of different environments. It has Schema Browser that helps to view table structure, synonyms, and packages. Report Browser allows you to navigate through 500 plus pre-built reports. It also provides access to your complete SQL history at any time while querying. It is built to fetch results in more than 200 plus rows and export them instantly to CSV or Excel formats. It allows you to log in securely with single sign on and avoid frustrating connection timeouts. In other words, it gives you everything Oracle developers always wished they had in one tool. Now, my colleague Nitin will walk you through a live demo of Develop SQL, showing exactly how these features come together in practice. Over to you, Nitin.
Thank you, Aryan. Hello, everyone. I'm Nitin Ayer, and today I'll be showcasing our flagship product, Develop SQL. Let's start with a challenge many of us here have faced. For report developers and data teams working with SaaS solutions, one of the biggest frustration is the lack of direct access to the database schema. Unlike traditional on-premise Oracle systems where we could freely explore tables and run queries, SaaS environments often limit that flexibility. Simple tasks like understanding the table schema or writing custom queries suddenly become time consuming and restrictive. So the question is, how do we bring back that familiar, powerful experience? That's exactly where Develop SQL comes in. Develop SQL bridges the gap by giving you an on-premise like database experience, even when working with Oracle ERP Cloud. It allows you to explore the schema with ease, query backend tables directly, work in a way that feels natural and efficient, just like you're used to. With Develop SQL, you no longer are limited by SaaS constraints. You regain control, speed, and confidence in how you access and work with your data. Now, instead of just talking about it, let's see it in action and have a detailed look at the features of this amazing tool. Develop SQL is a part of Fusion app. As you can see here, there are multiple tools built into Fusion app today, but we will be focusing mainly on Develop SQL. Fusion app allows you to define your environment details once and then use it across multiple tools. So to use Develop SQL, you will first need to define an environment. It's a very simple process. All you need to do is give a name that you can uniquely identify with, the URL, and the usernames and the passwords. If you want, you can also use SSO like I'm going to do in this case. So here in this case, all you need to do is provide a name and then provide the URL. Now I have already taken up a URL and I'm just going to copy that URL and I'm going to paste it over here. That's it. I don't need to define anything else. I just click on insert. Now as soon as I click on insert, the Oracle Cloud sign-in window should open up. Now this will take time based on the connection speeds and other aspects. Just wait for a second and then we can enter the username and password over here. Now this being a demo environment, I'm sure there won't be a single sign-on button as such, but then you will get a very clear picture as to how this will work. So the username that we are going to use today is samkit.demo and the password for this user is this. So I just click on next. Now this will take a second or two for verifying the login details. Let's just wait for it. It will, again, like I said, the time will depend on a lot of aspects like the connection speed or the amount of data or the traffic on the sign-in website or environment website. So there you see the new environment has been created. Okay. As you can see, you can define multiple connections at the same time. There is no limitations as such. So this is how you can define a connection. This tool, apart from Oracle Fusion connection, you can also have, it allows you to have connections to other data sources like other RDBSs, like you have quite a few selection options over here. Apart from that, you can also connect to NoSQL databases. So here you have another set of options that you can use. But like we decided, we are going to work with Oracle Fusion and we created a connection for that. And now I'll just click on this button. So here you go. This is Develop SQL, your SQL developer client for SaaS environment. It comes with a dark theme as well as it comes with a light theme. So I just prefer using the dark theme. Now moving forward, the primary function of this tool is to execute queries directly against your Oracle ERP cloud environment. While executing the queries, you can also set the number of records that you wish to return. So this drop down has a few options that you can use from, or you can enter a custom value or even a fetch all options. That's it. You just write a simple query. Like say for example, I'm just writing a very basic query. So as you can see, the IntelliSense is also working fine now over here. It gives me all the tables starting with the keywords that I'm entering. So just give it a second to load all the values. So I'll just select a table over here and that's it. I'll click on execute. That's it. It's now executing. It's connecting to my environment. Now if this table has any records, it will return. Otherwise it will give me a result like no result yet. To give a better option, let's try and select another table over here. If I have projects all B, yeah, that's it. So I'll just, one second, let me just correct this. All B table, yeah. So this is the table that we want to execute from. I can select the connections. So if I select the SSO connection that I have just now defined and I can press execute. Now you will see that I don't need to enter my username and password again. It has connected and it has returned the queries over here. So it is as simple as that. Not only that, if I pin this particular result set, because each time I'm going to execute a query, Develop SQL will create a set for it. Now, say for example, if I want to run the same query against in a different environment, so I have another environment that I have already defined earlier. So I'll just select that environment and I'll click on execute. Now, what this is going to do is it is going to connect to the new environment that I have defined, and it has returned the results from that environment. Now you can see that it has created a second set. So you could actually use this to compare the results between the two environments, or you can actually run the queries against different data sets, and you can compare the values over here. Apart from comparing data between the two data sets, this result window also allows you to directly download this, export this result set into a CSV or an Excel file. So all you need to do is click on this button and it will save the CSV file by default. You can convert that to Excel. You can also use a search function. So say for example, if I want to maybe select a particular project type, so if I just kind of add the numbers over here, so I can just copy this particular ID, and if I can just put this over here. So now as you can see, as soon as I typed this, it has filtered the search result and it is now displaying me all the result sets that are matching the project type ID that I have used. You can also type in the project ID, or if you want, you can carry out organization ID. You can search it by any of the columns that are visible over here. Now that you have seen the primary basic function of this tool and how easy it is to run queries directly against your environment, I'll walk you through a few other basic features of Develop SQL. So you have your the regular culprits like edit option, wherein you can have redo, undo, copy, paste, uppercase, lowercase, tabify, untabify. So all these options are there under the edit options. Then next tab is the search menu, where you can actually do a find within the query window. You can go to the next recurring keyword where it is recurring next, and you can also use find and replace option within the search. Then we have bookmarks. Now this section will allow you to insert bookmarks within queries to move easily between those queries. Let's say you have a very long query with hundreds of lines. You can easily add a bookmark at crucial areas in the query, so that you can easily locate them and carry out any edits that you wish to. For example, you may have a fixed filter for testing, like for example an employee number as one of the lines in a very large query, and you can just bookmark the line in this query and easily reach that line and just change the employee number to run the query for a different employee. So that is your bookmark option that you have. Then we have something called as a view object. Now it's a very straightforward option. So you have these toggle on and off the bottom panel, the inspector section, or the object explorer. This I'll explain you more in for detail once we move to those sections. Schema browser, these again I will be explaining you more in details, schema browser and report browser. As an example, say for if this tool is being used by a person who has been very much used to Develop SQL as such, they can just toggle the page header and remove the section and have more area to the writing the queries or viewing the results as such. And for a person who's new, will need to know where he is in what section he is working in, so this page header can be toggled between on and off. So that's your view section. Then we come to tools. Now this tool, basically you can manage your connections that we defined initially using this option over here, or you can also manage connections using this cloud icon over here. So these are the two ways you can manage connections and add a new connection maybe, or edit a connection. Apart from that, you also have something called as shortcut editor. Yes, that's right. This tool allows you to create shortcuts. Now you can create as many shortcuts as you want. Okay, now in this case I have created a few very basic shortcuts like SSF, which would in turn be changed to select star from, or SSFW, which maybe, I'll just type in the table name and I've got a where condition already placed on over here. Or I can even have a complex shortcut which is like a huge large query which I need to run time and again, and I can just have that as, if I'm going to execute it multiple times in a day, I'll just create a shortcut for that, and I can just use it directly. So these are a few shortcuts that I have created for demo purpose. I'll show you how they work. So you can just type in SSF over here, and then I press Control Enter, and you can see that it has changed to select star from. Or like I said, I have a huge query which I run time and again. I just enter roles, and there you go. See, I've got this large query automatically over here. Now I can just click on execute, or if I want, I can just make any changes to any parameters that I have passed over here, and I can execute. So this is how easy your life becomes once you start using this tool. Another example in SSF that I have created is something PPL, where I can just, I've already pre-written a query which I'm going to run time and again. So over here I will just enter the an ID which is something like 00000047, maybe 69. I'm just taking a random number because this is the format of the number that is usually there in the tables. So let's see if it gets executed. So I've just entered the number over here, it is executing, and there you go. I have a person with this particular ID, and I've got all the details that I want by just using PPL as a shortcut. So there you go. So this is your tools section. So these are your basic features of Develop SQL. Okay. Now that we have covered these basic features, let's move on to a few interesting options. The first one that I would like to take up is you have schema browser. Now schema browser, basically like the name suggests, it will show you all the tables, all the synonyms, all the views, and all the packages that are there in your environment. I would not want to expand any of these because, as you can see, there are more than 25,000 tables, more than 17,000 synonyms. So it is going to take a bit time to load. It does not take time in minutes, or like it will take about maximum a couple of minutes to load the entire list. But what I would like to show you is I can directly use the search feature over here, and I can just type in pjf underscore project, and then if I search, you can see that it has already filtered the result sets. Now it is showing me 37 matches. Okay, now in synonyms, again, once again, let's go to synonyms. Synonyms is again going to take a bit of time to populate. Views are 47. So this way you can directly reach to any particular table or a view or a synonym that you wish to. Okay, all you need to do now is maybe click on a particular table, double click on it, so it will just load over here. So it's just going to take a second or two. It will open a new window where all the details will be displayed. So just give it a second or two. So there you go. So there you have all the details. So these are all the columns that are there. Then you have the indexes that are there, and it has the constraints that are defined for this particular table. So there you go. You can go to any table and get the entire structure of the table with all the column names, the indexes, and the constraints right there in front of you. So again, once again, it is making your life far more easy. You don't have to search the internet for a particular column name, or I'm quite sure that you would think of 10 different usages for the schema browser. So there you go. You have schema browser. After schema browser, we now come to the star feature of Develop SQL, that is report browser. So this functionality offers ready-made reports that you can just double-click and execute. We have already identified hundreds of reports, and we will keep on adding more. Our goal is to have a system that will enable organizations to generate any report without writing a single line of code. So, report browser has a tree structure. Each section has a folder which in turn contains report related to that particular folder. So you have common modules, then you have expenses where you have a few reports, then financials, you have accruals and expenses and customers. So these are the different folders you have. So say for example, I'll go to security, and maybe I want to see what do I want? I want to see all users access report. Okay, so I'll just double click on this. As you can see, the query is coming, has come in the query window. All I need to do now is execute. That's it. It has connected to my query environment and it has executed the query, and as you can see, I've got the result over here. So it is as simple as that. I can, once again, like I showed you before, I can just export this to CSV. So there you have Develop SQL. I hope I have given you enough perspectives, and I have walked you through all the main features of Develop SQL. Definitely, as mentioned in our webinar materials that we have been putting up on LinkedIn, that we can offer you a 3 months free trial, so you can try out this in various scenarios within your environment. Well, that brings me to the end of my presentation. We will now have a short Q&A section where Aryan will read out the questions that we have received so far, and I'll try to answer them all to the best of my ability. So thank you once again for your valuable time, and over to you, Aryan. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitin, for the amazing session. Now let's move on to the question and answer session. The first question that I have is, will SSO work with two-factor authentication?
Uh, yes, it will work with 2FA.
And what is the limit of data that can be extracted?
Limit, well, actually, the application doesn't force any limitations as such. The limitations are mainly, it would be from Oracle and Excel. So Oracle has a default setting of 5 minutes for the timeout for online queries, and Excel has some 500,000 bytes or something like that. So that's the only limitations. But apart from that, there are no limitations from our side at all.
Got it. And apart from CSV, what other file types does it have?
By default, each file will be exported into CSV, but then you can just save it as an Excel file because the format is the same that we have kept.
And what are the system requirements for this application?
System require, well, this surprisingly, this is not a very large application. Okay, all you would need is .NET framework, maybe version 4.8 and above on your PC, at least a 4 GB of free main memory, and it can work both on Windows and Mac.
Got it.
And the size would depend on the kind of data that you're trying to extract. So we would suggest at least about 150 MB free space.
And is there a timeout limit for the query which is being run?
Like I said, the timeout query is not from the application, but Oracle has a setting. Oracle has a setting where this setting can be changed. Yeah, I mean, by default, it is some 600 seconds or something like that. I'm not very sure about the number, but Oracle has a setting for online query timeouts.
But there's no timeout limit from our
No,
application.
no.
Got it. And what is the licensing modules?
Licensing module. Okay, licensing module is another tool that we have developed that works with Oracle ERP Cloud. We can provide you more details on this if you're really interested in licensing module, and we can arrange for a separate demo where we can showcase all the features of this licensing module.
And what role privilege does the user need to have to use this tool?
Okay, so basically, only BI author publisher, BI author role is required only one time to create the data model. and then after that, depending on the roles and privileges that have been assigned, the data is accessed is available to the user. So only one time we would need BI author privilege.
Understood. So we are waiting for more questions to be dropped in the chat. So let's go ahead, guys. What are the cost or TCO of this tool?
Uh, it depends actually. It depends on the number of licenses that you purchase. We can discuss this in detail on over a short call. Based on your requirement, we can definitely come up with a quote for you.
Meanwhile, those who are interested in receiving the free trial can drop SQL in the chat and we'll email the credentials in your inbox.